This is La Familia series, and this is the first episode. And don't forget to comment in the comment section below. Today, what do I have for you? I want to talk about the black sheep in the family. In a family of four, where you have the mother, the father, and two children, when you ask a knowledgeable parent or a responsible parent who is your best child, they won't necessarily tell you that this is the particular child that's my best, because it's not even healthy for the relationship among those children. They might just keep it to themselves, but deep in them they have that child that they tend to have this strong affection towards, and there is this other child that they tend to be like, God will help this one. Oh, let's shall be praying for him or her. Yeah, and that's that particular child we want to talk about today. Don't forget, this is La Familia series. 7 series, 7 shots. 7 series, 7 shots. Family talk, and it's going to be practical. When you talk about black sheep, the black sheep is usually an idiom, like an idiomatic expression that has to do with somebody being negatively different from the rest, negativity. Reasons why a child might be referred to as a black sheep in the family might be due to health challenges. Yes, imagine a child who bedwets in the house, which is not among his siblings, or it's not common to his siblings. A child is like 8 years, 10 years, who bedwets in the house. The tendency for the parents to be comparing that child to the other children is there. Yes, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the child who has academics challenge. Probably the child is not as bright academically like the rest. I'm also going to talk about the child who is like, the child might be doing well academically or might be average when it comes to like academics. The child might not have any health challenge, but the child might just be a drunk, might be the one who steals at home, might just be stubborn, like might just choose to be stubborn for no particular reason. We're going to talk about these children. Let's talk about the effects of the parents' wrong attitude towards this child who is kind of technically tagged as a black sheep in the family. What's the effect of the parents' wrong attitude? If the parents approaches handling the child's attitude or the child's problem or whatever the child is going through in a wrong manner, what do you think will be the effect on the child? One, it would hinder the kind of relationship flow between the parents and that particular child. Of course, the child will not be free with that parent. Child will not be able to interact intimately with that particular parent. Also, it's also going to cause some kind of, let me call it backwardness. It will cause some kind of backwardness for the child. It can also result to suicidal thoughts. Some children even think to the point of running away from home. They might want to run away from home. Some of them who are not able to run away from home might be withdrawn from their siblings. They'll just keep to themselves. Some of them even become stubborn at home. And for children who are stubborn, like they are very, very stubborn, that's just a way of them demonstrating their anger towards their parents. By parents, and you're watching my YouTube channel, thank you so much. Please stay tuned to the end. What should the parents do? First of all, as a parent, if you have other children apart from this particular child, please don't make the mistake of comparing your child with the other children at home. It's very, very, very wrong. It's very wrong. Probably child is not doing well academically. Everybody sleeps, but we wake up at different time. The only problem is the time we are going to wake up. So please do not compare your child with other children. That particular one, sit down and look at that child very well. There's something that differentiates that child from the others. Life is not just about academics. Academics is very, very important, like very important. That doesn't mean that the child shouldn't do well in academics. Same goes to a child who is also bedwetting. Don't begin to, you are 8 years, your brother is 5 years, and he's not bedwetting. You that you are 8, and you are going to celebrate birthday. What is even good about your birthday, safe? Don't say that to your children. Don't compare that particular child with the other children at home. Do not compare that particular child with your friend's child. Don't compare that particular child with your friend's child. Okay, you have this friend of yours whose child is same age with your own child, and you then start pointing finger at, hey, look at Lagbaja child, hey, look at Mrs. A child, look at Mr. B's child, hey, she's doing well. Don't compare. You don't even know the story. Your friend might not have told you much about his or her own child. You don't even know the pain that they are passing through in their home. So please don't compare your child with your friend's child. Then make necessary efforts to be your child's best friend. Like, what's the essence of being a parent and your child cannot confide in you? Understand that as children we have friends. Like, might even call somebody our bestie and likes. But what's the essence of being a parent and your child do not find a best friend in you? Sorry to say, boy, you ought to be ashamed if your child do not find a best friend in you. If your child who is a female cannot, like, she's having crush on somebody and she can't tell you that, hey dad, I'm having this feeling for somebody, hey mom, I'm having this feeling for somebody, and maybe the child is scared that, hey, if I say this at home, hey, the house will be on fire that day. No, it shouldn't be such. So if you have a child who is probably bedwetting, try to make that child your best friend. That child might be going through trauma. Definitely the child is even going through trauma, mental trauma especially. Try to know how the child feels. Like, when you've, after shouting at this child, do you even know do you know what goes on in the child's mind? Try to make the child your best friend. Try to communicate with the child. Okay, child is having some academic challenge. What's up? What's the problem? Some children might read for hours before they have to understand. Some children need some kind of love before they understand. Maybe your home is, maybe the setting in your home, maybe your relationship with your wife or with your spouse, with your husband, might even be the reason for your child's problem. Don't neglect the child. Don't compare the child with other people's children. In cases of health challenges or health challenge, please try to visit the hospital. It's okay to pray when the child has health challenge, but also try to visit the hospital to know what's up with the child. Are there necessary measures that needs to be taken to curb that particular problem in that child? Probably if it's academics, probably the child needs a lesson teacher, probably the child needs to even leave that particular school where he or she attends. Take necessary efforts to curb that particular challenge that the child is passing through. And maybe it's a child that is wayward, probably the child is a drunk, is a smoker. In short, there's nothing like you being your child's best friend. It goes a long way. It goes a long way in your child interacting with other people. Like, they will be real. I hope you understand. Like, when you're your child's best friend, they will be real with you. They won't come home and be forming. What I'm doing outside, I can do it inside the house. They'll be real. And if the child is now making a mistake, then you bring the child home and, like, oh son, don't do this, oh daughter, don't do this. Irrespective of the kind of challenge, academic challenge, maybe the child is having some health issues, maybe the child is wayward, maybe the child is a flirt, maybe the child is a drunk, the child smokes, the place of prayer cannot be overemphasized, as well as the place of being your child's best friend. There should be some kind of intimacy between you and that child. You don't expect your parents to do what you ought to do as a child. Yes, we've talked about what the parents should do. We've talked about the effects of the parents' wrong approach in handling someone who is technically classified as a black sheep in the home. We've talked about the effect of the parents' wrong approach in handling such a situation. Now, what should the child do? Because the child is the person facing the problem. What should this child do? If you are the child, and definitely you'd know probably your parents are not well pleased with the kind of life you're living, or you're just feeling odd out of your siblings for whatever reason, then this is for you. Do not begin to develop a kind of negative perception about life. Before you know it, the child begins to feel worthless. The child begins to feel inferior, and it's wrong. It's very wrong, especially if you are the child that's maybe you academically you are not as good as your sibling, or probably you're even a twin and you are not as good as your twin. Probably you and your twin, you guys, both of you went for a particular competition or a particular contest, and all of a sudden your twin was announced the winner. The other twin did not even near the third position. The person was thrown to the back. Please do not begin to have a bad perception about life. It can go a long way in harming yourself, and you will do yourself no good. 2, engage in things that makes you happy, especially for children who have some kind of health issues. Engage in stuff that makes you happy. Don't go moody all the time. It will just affect you, because those people who are bullying you as a result of your challenge, those people who make you feel bad as a result of your challenge, they'll just end up making you feel bad, leave you moody, and that's the end, and it will only harm you. So try to engage in stuff that makes you happy. There must be something that makes you happy, definitely. Probably it's playing football, whatever. Even if it's just keeping quiet and reading a book, just engage in something that makes you happy. You're the only one that can give yourself joy. If you keep relying on others to make you happy, you just end up wasting your time, because nobody can give you like 100% happiness. You may be happy, but you may not have joy. They are two different things. Yeah. 3, avoid withdrawing. Avoid withdrawing yourselves from friends, from relationships. When I mean relationships, I mean from interaction with people, with your family members, with your friends, with your schoolmates. Avoid withdrawing yourself. It can lead to unimaginable things. It can even make the child to begin to think of criminal activities, because a child who grows up in an environment where he or she is not loved, and that child is passing through some kind of challenge, maybe the child is having some kind of health issues, and the child grows up in an environment that they don't even care, whatever is going on with the child, nobody is even concerned about it. The child can begin to have some kind of criminal kind of thoughts that that's the way life is. Everybody is hard on each other. And you see some children, it's not like they intended to be wicked, but they'll just close their eyes and do wicked, unimaginable things. Please avoid withdrawing yourself from others. Don't avoid your family members. Try to discuss with siblings, and try to share your minds with people whom, as God leads you, are knowledgeable to understand you and take you for whom you are. 4, make necessary efforts to change for good, especially in areas that involves academic challenge. The person who seems to be better in the family might be reading for 2 hours. You have to extend yours. Make necessary efforts to be better, not just in academics, but try to also, if you are a child and you are doing well, it's not to your parents' advantage, actually. It's to your advantage. The only thing your parents can say is like, yeah, that's my child. But if you get the money, it's your money. If you have the fame, it's your fame. If people celebrate you, it's yours. Your success will be in your name. It's not be in your parents' name. They'll just be like, thank God for this child. Oh, that's all. And then if you want to give them something, you can just give them something in appreciation. For a child that bedwets, try to make necessary efforts to stop it to the minimal. If it's to reduce your intake of water before sleeping, to take your meals early and all, try to do that. And please do not forget the place of prayer. The place of prayer cannot be overemphasized. So click to God, and He's going to make all things beautiful. Sincerely cry out to Him. Oh God, you're not comfortable. Tell Him that you're not comfortable with your present state of life. Tell Him you're not comfortable with the way your child is living. He goes a long way in changing things. This is La Familia series, and this is the first episode. That means we have another episode for you. Please do comment below. Let's know, have you ever gone through such challenge, or you are a parent passing through such? Let's know below. And please, if there's any way you've handled your child's situation and today it's a big testimony, please drop in the comment section below. Catch ya. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Do share.